jkoper and WMD, they are both 0-2 at the moment, both looking for their first win to try to turn things around to qualify for the bracket stage of the tournament. And we are getting things underway, and we'll talk a little bit more about how everything works here as we go along. But first off, we have the king giving the instructions to our players. They're going to get some items in the treasure chest here to help them out, including a torch, some wings, which are very important, and the obligatory magic key.
So, of course, the wings are valuable because if you use them when you're in the throne room, you don't have to use your magic key, because as soon as you exit the throne room for the first time, that door becomes unlocked automatically. So now they have a free magic key, which they can use to, say, open the treasury, or hold on to for later use.
And we have questions in chat as far as the names that are entered. Going all the way back to when you played Dragon Warrior as a kid, the first 4 characters that you enter as far as your name, it has slight determinations on the benefits to your statistics. Whether it's the building of 2 bonuses of the 4 stats, your strength, agility, hit points, and magic points. And wow, we are already in the treasury here, and we've got a torch, we've got some gold, we've got another torch, and we have the silver harp.
Now, what's interesting is Sparkover just reset game. Oh, never mind that. I was thinking maybe she was re-rolling, because there was a special little... Oh, wait, never mind. Completely ignore everything I was saying. That was not 2 keys, that was wings and a key. However, it is nice that they have the gold in there, because that allows them to do a gold grind later on. And it's also nice that they have the Staff of Rain Cave right beside the castle, since they just got the silver harp.
Now, our runners, what they're doing here, they're looking to get strong here to defeat the evil Dragon Lord, so they're going to be collecting certain key items, including the silver harp that was found in the treasury there. And they're going to be trading that in for the Staff of Rain to the cave just southwest of the starting castle, Tanagel Castle. And those key items are going to be traded in for the Rainbow Drop, which will allow our runners to enter Charlotte Castle, home of the Dragon Lord. Ooh, and a magic Drake key taking out WMD, and jkoper are going to take a look and see what is behind Tanagel Castle here. They'll also, as you've seen, they'll be fighting enemies one at a time to gain experience and levels to get stronger, and they'll also be getting gold to purchase weapons, armor, and items to help along the way.
It's hard to tell exactly from the way the stream keeps pausing, but I believe that it's Swamp North behind the castle, based upon the fact that it seemed like jkoper just kept going south. But I think I stand corrected. I think it's actually Swamp South. And you can see that on up2ng's screen as he just cast outside to get to the north exit.
Yeah, a little known factoid from the original Dragon Warrior is if you enter the south end of the cave and cast outside, you can exit the other end, which in this case, doesn't... it leads to another part of the land, and WMD finding out that the Drakies have Dragon Lord Breath, which does anywhere between 64 to 72 hit points of damage.
Yeah, we've come across the key item in the harp. We've come across some gold that we could potentially be useful, but we've found no place to use the gold and having a lot of trouble finding enemies to kill here. As the red slime appears to also have baby breath, which isn't too bad in the long run, but at this level, when you only have 10 HP, can be pretty devastating.
Referred to as the baby breath just because it's not nearly as strong as the Dragon Lord 2 breath, but it still does anywhere between 18 and 24 hit points of damage, as it's taking out both Sparkover and WMD, and jkoper with a reset as well.
One particular interesting item of note, we're having trouble killing red slimes because of their fire breath. We're having trouble killing drakies because of their fire breath. But if you see on up2ng's side, he is currently fighting a ghost. With an attack power of 6, that's going to be challenging. So I don't know if they have a slime, but if they don't, they're going to have to get incredibly lucky around here.
Yeah, the Drakies and red slimes being problematic. It'll be interesting to see how our runners move along here, as they're going to be looking to get to 5 experience to get to level 2. That'll help them along. And RCT, they started out with the spells of Stop Spell and Outside. And as far as the Throne Rune items, there was a torch, there were the wings that allowed them to keep their magic key. Those were the 3 items, and the Tanagel Treasury had 2 torches, some gold, and the Silver Harp.
Now, I've noticed WMD finding a couple of ghosts, and that they like to cast Hurt, which, if you can get them to cast Hurt a few times and use your Stop spell, that might be kind of the key to getting the experience. Or else up2ng seems to have found a good spot to grind just normal slimes. At least he's hit a couple of them in the last couple of battles.
And jkoper getting to level 2.
And if I'm seeing the stats right, he didn't get any MP or strength from that level, which is not really what you want in this seed.
Yeah, pardon my silence here, Tilo. I'm working on getting the remainder of the stats here to try to catch up, as my preliminary notes were a bit delayed here with the late start and some production issues going on here. So I'll be chiming in, but also trying to take diligent notes at the same time.
We saw Sparkover attempt the stop spell strats on the ghost, but was unable to land, I believe, even a single hit with that before the ghost finally got off all of its attacks. So I think that strategy might not be as effective as one might hope. But we'd see WMD hit level 2, and indeed, an agility increase of 5 and an HP increase, a significant HP increase, but that's, if you can't kill anything, that's, even the HP increase isn't going to help that much. It may allow you to survive a red slime 1 round with the fire breath, but that's about it. Sparkover was trying another go at the stop spell ghosts there, but was not having a lot of success.
And up2ng, having saved his game ahead of time, just not worrying about the death music and the animation and things of that nature, and just saving a little bit of time by that death fanfare and the stern talking to from the king, basically saying you need to do better and not die as much. Loose translation to modern times.
And of course, everything here is being compacted by the fact that right south of here, we just have a gigantic swamp, which means there's no chance to potentially explore and find a town where you can use the gold that was hiding in the treasury or anything of the sort. So this is just a matter of, in a way, just a matter of getting lucky at the right times. Having said that, we do know that the cave behind the castle is Swamp South, and we do have the outside spell, so we can even survive that. So if you could find something on the outside of that and manage to avoid getting killed in the process, you could get a significant lead on the other opponents here.
So WMD taking out another ghost and is just one more of those ghosts away from level 3, but is perhaps being a little, well, okay, now thinking better of it, being a little, oh, wow. Being a little adventurous, trying to go for the Magidrakey, but even hitting only 1 hit point on the red slime, that's not going to get it done. As up2ng now getting a slime and getting to level 2.
And I'll tell you what, after going 12 minutes of trying to get a level here where you can't kill anything, and seeing that you didn't even get 1 power from it, it's gotta be absolutely infuriating. Sparkover's about to get the disappointment as well.
So pretty even, well, all around for all 4 of our runners here. Now, I do want to emphasize or re-emphasize that it is the top 2 runners against one another, Sparkover against up2ng, and the ones on the bottom row as well, jkoper and WMD88, they're facing off against one another. So even though it looks in a quad format, it is 2 separate one-on-one races going on at the same time. But yeah, so far the early enemies having been very difficult. It may just be a matter of going 1 blue slime at a time here. Or if you have enough hit points to maybe luck out and take out one of these ghosts, as WMD is looking to do here, but it's a coin flip just to try to get 1 hit point of damage because of how low the strength of our runners is. And we want to thank you for tuning in, as it has been a very long and adventurous evening here, of this being the final 2 of 7 races that have gone on over the course of the evening here.
So it appears the magicians also have hurt. So it's just not getting away from it, or we're not getting anything nice from any of these monsters.
So we have run into the 5, dare I say with tongue-in-cheek, easiest enemies of the game. In a slime, a red slime, a drakey, a ghost, and a magician. And we have red slimes with fire breath. We have drakeys with Dragonlord 2 breath. We have ghosts with the spell of hurt. And we have magicians with the spell of hurt. This is a pretty mean early seed here.
At this point, the players are making pretty good use of the extra HP to survive that 1 fire breath from the red slimes to move leveling a little faster. Speaking of which, jkoper just hits level 3, and there's the power increase you're hoping for. although strength of 14 at level 3 is still not ideal, it will at least allow you to start killing the slimes and red slimes in one hit and being able to survive long enough to kill the ghosts. I don't think you want to try the Drakey still because of the DL2 breath.
That would be just a little ambitious, as the remainder of our runners are looking to get to 17 experience, which WMD just has here, and is now going to go to level 3. Only about 40 seconds behind jkoper doing so. And the Hangry Canuck noting in chat, may as well take your chance on the other side of the swamp. Well, the issue is, with such little strength, whatever enemies they find, they're not going to be strong enough to be able to take out.
Of course, the other part of that is if they are even capable of getting across the swamp without any heal spells or without any herbs.
Ooh, and jkoper were able to take out a Magidrakey, and that's good for 12 experience. So now the target number to get to level 4 is going to be 35 experience.
Sparkover now hitting level 3 as well. And funny you should mention going across the swamp there, Hangry Canuck, because WMD just did that and found a wizard on the other side.
Yeah, a wizard among the top 7 toughest enemies in the game.
Centroid, I think it looks like the gain from 2 to 3 was 8 strength, 2 agility, 5 HP, and 6 MP.
The WMD in the cave now is going to acquire the Staff of Rain. And here comes level 4 for jkoper. 7 power, no agility, 2 hit points, 3 magic points, and the Spell of Hurtmore.
Now things are going to speed up a little bit. I mean, I'm just thinking about in the back of the castle, in the swamp cave, we've seen multiple encounters with Wraith Knights, who are, while they do have a slight Hurtmore resistance, our 1 kill is going to be able to, give them a massive amount of experience and gold for this point of the game. jkoper finding blue dragons on the other side of the swamp.
But having that advantage and now a replenishment of MP, able to at least cast Hurtmore on 3 occasions and hopefully able to maximize that to potentially get up to level 5 with it. And WMD heading to level 4 as well and is going to enjoy the news.
And so now we've seen wizards, blue dragons, and armored knights on the other end of this swamp over here. So maybe the other continent is the right place to go next. So if you can get just a little bit more HP, you may be able to survive 1 hit from the armored knight long enough to cast 2 Hurtmores on them and get a big boost that way.
And now jkoper taking out the Magician and is going to go to level 5. Yes, the Hangry Canuck. So level 4 is where Hurtmore was acquired. So now that's opening things up rather expediently here. So Sparkover pacing the desert beyond the swamp and looking for some enemies. Meanwhile, up2ng now heading on back out. And WMD just a few experience away from hitting level 5 as well. And there is level 5 for Sparkover. Now here's 5 for WMD. With the very anticlimactic hurt spell.
jkoper had finally managed to get away from the worst zone out there with all the nasty monsters, but got ambushed by a knight and sent right back home.
And wizards, as tough as they are, having the hurt spell, which allowed up2ng to get away, but not so much from the Droll Magi. Sparkover not able to get away from the green dragon, and a wizard sending jkoper back. Meanwhile, WMD working on a red slime. I guess it's just trying to hang on, not having enough hurt mores.
Well, the big problem we're seeing here is that we've got the hurt mores, but we don't have a lot of good places to use them, as we're getting monsters like the wizards, who are pretty much immune to hurt more, have a 15 out of 16 resist. Armored knights, who while they have a susceptibility to hurt more, you need to get 2 off and can't survive 2 hits from them. Blue dragons, which are a 50-50 resist from hurt more. So far, we've seen Droll Magi being about the best thing we're going to be able to use hurt more on right now, which I believe up2ng did, and just hit level 6, which had a very nice HP gain and a very, very nice MP gain.
Yeah, 28 magic points. Now they'll be able to utilize that hurt more spell quite a bit more at level 6, jumping up to 48 MP with a casting of 5 per. That is going to be 9 castings of hurt more.
So up2ng did something interesting here. Went to get enough money to buy 1 magic key from the guy in the back of the castle. He's going to open the door there, buy that 1 magic key, then open up this other door, which has enough gold in it, to restock his supply of magic keys afterwards. And then he's going to go on his way, probably through the swamp cave, to see what he can manage to cast hurt more on over there.
So now up2ng officially picking up the silver harp. And WMD getting ambushed by a star wyvern. And is Hurtmore going to take it out? Yes. That's a big 105, and that's going to send WMD up to level 6.
Sparkover finding a magic wyvern on her side, which is the best monster you can find with Hurtmore, because it is a guaranteed hit, and not only is it guaranteed to hit, it's also guaranteed to kill in 1 shot. And then right after finding that, found a town that she was unable to make it to.
But at least there's that knowledge there. It's up2ng now taking out a Wraith. So with our runners now at level 6. They're looking to get to level 7 by acquiring the target number of 337 experience.
And we have a Hawksness sighting on up2ng's screen. If he can go over here and find an Axe Knight and take it out, and find Erdrick's armor, that could be enormous. But if there's anything other than an Axe Knight there, it's probably not going to end well. Maybe he could survive. He'd probably survive an Armored Knight hit at this point. So could maybe kill that too.
Well, let's take a look here as up2ng. Oh, it's an Armored Knight. So it is a Knight, just not quite the one he was looking for. So will he be able to survive a hit? Yes. And one more hurt more. Is able to take it out. So here comes level 7 for up2ng. Ooh, 1 power, 2 speed, 9 hit points, and 5 magic points. And the search item is the token, Erdrick's token. So Erdrick's token is one of the key items that are needed to progress in the game, as now WMD going up to level 7.
And now Sparkover finds Rimmeldar, which allows her to fill up her supply of keys in a different manner. But it also means it's the first chance for potentially us to buy weapons and armor.
And WMD finding an Axe Knight, and that's going to be very helpful here. Ooh, just able to survive with 1 hit point. As up2ng now exchanging for that Staff of Rain. Sparkover, meanwhile, falling to the Stone Man. And it looks like we've got a little bit of a freeze on jkoper's end.
I think we're seeing a lot of the same strategy here, which is now that we've got the ability to get multiple keys, let's go ahead and raid the treasury for real this time. Just fill up our stock of keys and try to see what's on the other continent.
So WMD being very resourceful with very limited resources, and has been able to, by hook or by crook, make his way up to level 8.
And we have Heal More. And now he just takes a Death Warp, deciding it's time to refill those resources.
So there were 2 spells there at level 8, both Heal More and Return. Although our runners have been finding ways to return to Tangel Castle in an unwanted form via a death.
Now we're going to get our first chance to see what's in the inn at Rimmeldar. And it's just fairy water. And now Sparkover will be getting her token. It looks like up2ng has decided that this area right by Rimmeldar is a great place to grind, and maybe getting a couple levels here where he can get an easy refill at the inn. while WMD finds the Jerk Cave.
Yes, the Rainbow Drop Cave, known also as the Jerk Cave, because if you go in there and talk to him without having Erdrick's token, he will literally kick you out of the cave. But that is where the Rainbow Drop will be acquired once you have all 3 key items, the Staff of Rain, the Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's token. And WMD finding the town of Cole, which has a search spot that has the Fairy Flute in its vanilla location.
That means, of course, that the Erdrick's armor will be lying somewhere in the overworld, and they will have to find Cantland to get the coordinates to search.
And it looks like WMD going to add to the power a little bit by buying a copper sword and getting a little defense from the small shield. As Sparkover now trading in for her Staff of Rain. And now here's level 9 for up2ng. jkoper and Hawk's Nest is going to try to make his way over to the Armored Knight. And up2ng going to do a little bit of shopping. Aura's going to do some browsing and hold off for the half-plate armor. But needs a little less than 100 gold to do so. And here comes the level 8 and the token for jkoper.
So WMD finds Garen's grave. What's interesting here is if he can just survive long enough to get these 3 chests, he can set up a gold grind, which I believe in this ton of coal we had both the silver shield and the flame sword, and so that can help get him a nice boost.
Most certainly. Now, in reference to the gold grind, it's a matter of taking advantage of a glitch in the game, in that chests respawn every time you go to the overworld map, where jkoper and up2ng currently are. But due to the programming limits at the time the game was made, well, the game only tracks up to 8 chests as opened. And speaking of chests, we've got an herb in the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave on jkoper's side. So every chest open beyond that 8th chest can be taken over and over again. So usually what you see here is now level 9 for WMD. And it looks like we've got the heal and sleep spells as well. So as I was saying, yeah, once you take from, let's say, the cave, let's say you open up 3 chests, as mentioned here, but looks like we won't get that far because of the Spectre with the Dragon Lord Breath. But then you would go back to the King's throne room, and there you would see, well, the 3 chests that are normally there, they're already marked as open. Then you would go into the treasury and open a couple of more, and by the time you get to that 9th chest, you can take it over and over and over again. And in doing... Go ahead.
This has been a really grindable seed in exploration. Often you have to make a trade-off between exploration and grinding, whether or not you're going to go explore the world or you're going to stay where you are or find a good grind spot and spend some time doing no exploration but also grinding. But in this one, pretty much everywhere they've gone, they've had good experienced monsters. And up2ng stopped and spent some time just grinding right in front of Rimildar. And while the rest of them have done a lot more exploration, and there's not really much of an experience difference to speak of.
Yeah, pretty even among the among most of our competitors here. jkoper trailing a little bit. He's been running into some death issues. Is able to pick up that Staff of Rain now.
Now, up2ng used a torch in the Swamp Cave, which leads me to believe he's going to go check the set encounter there. And I'm wondering if he's considering grinding at that location.
Well, given that it's a golem, I would think maybe it's not the best of ideas.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. He hasn't found coal to get the fairy flute yet, but even if he did, a golem grind at this level, this strength level, even with the flute taking 8 seconds per use, not going to be a valuable use of your time.
And level 9 now for jkoper. As Sparkover going to use the Fairy Water. Now that works just like the Repel spell, as any enemies whose defense is equal to or less than your strength will not come up with an encounter on the overworld.
up2ng is the first one to reach level 11. Or level 10, I mean. Which had a pretty nice set of gains in the strength and agility, both being double-digit.
Yeah, now able to take out those blue dragons. And looking here, so wow, triple herbs in the upper part of the Garen's grave.
Interesting, he chooses to outside there rather than set up the gold grind.
And now here comes level 10 for WMD. 13, 11, 5, and 11. So now a combination of exploration and grinding, as Sparkover is going to get to level 10. And so too is jkoper.
And WMD comes across Breckenary.
A nice cheap stay at the inn. Can't go wrong with that. And let's see what the shop has. There's a flame sword, and there's a lot of weapons, and that's about it.
At this point, I may be wrong, but I think every shop in every town has had a flame sword at it.
A small shield pickup on Sparkover's side, along with a copper sword. Now jkoper is going to check out the 3 chests and get an herb, and another herb, and yet another herb. As now up to level 11 goes up to NG. Nice hit point gain. And Sparkover, having been in coal, had done the search and should have gotten the fairy flute as well. I believe that Sparkover, having been in coal, had searched and gotten the flute.
WMD finding a pretty nice grindable area over here with both metal slimes and axe knights. With the golem grind being in the, I guess we got the armor knight at Hawksness, so that's probably an optimal grind location if it comes down to it.
And jkoper going deeper into Garen's grave and has a magic key. And we'll see what that 5th and final chest is momentarily.
Meanwhile, Sparkover is in Garen Ham. I'm going to check that shop and see what is lying behind the magic key, or the key lock door.
And I think that, okay, yeah, WMD had upgraded to a broadsword. Sparkover here in Garenham. We're going to see what's in those 3 chests in a moment.
Well, if we didn't have the possible gold grind set up in the castle, that would be one way you could get the gold reasonably fast in what's referred to as a ghetto gold grind, where you actually have to go leave and come back in each time to respawn the chests.
Yeah, Joker in a sense on that, as all 3 were there, and now it looks like we've got a broadsword and a large shield pickup on Sparkover's side. And jkoper working to get deep into the grave, as now WMD going to get to level 11. And the back of Garenham, we have the Tablet Cave. So no enemy encounters and a free treasure chest. Oh, and jkoper not able to get all the way down deep into the grave. So the question is, will he go back for it? Meanwhile, the wings in the Tablet Cave.
And so now jkoper is starting this gold grind. As you can see, the treasure chest, being the 9th treasure chest, is not opening. And I don't know that we found any significant armor to speak of, but we do definitely have seen the flame sword and a silver shield in coal. So I'm suspicious that this gold grind is going to go up to 25,000, roughly.
Yep, the combination of the 9,800 for the flame sword and the 14,800 for the silver shield, that puts you up to 24,600. But what that'll get you, the flame sword having 28 attack power, that'll be added to their base strength total, and the silver shield, 20 defense, the best shield in the game.
WMD just learned that the Rogue Scorpions have the Dragon Lord 2 Breath, and gave him a rapid one-way ticket to Tantegel Castle.
Fire-breathing scorpions. Oof.
I do see JJ Schmidt and the Hangry Canuck talking about the broadcasts for all the Dragon Warrior Randomizer games and how amazing it is that that so many races have been made viewable. And I'm just going to want to give a shout out to all of the volunteers who have worked hard to make all these things happen. Special shout out to Wolfman, who has tried to coordinate everything, which has not been a simple task. And yeah, just thanks to the whole community for giving what you have to allow so much of this to be viewed by everybody.
Very well said, Tilo, and I couldn't agree more. It is very appreciated across the community, whether it be the restreamers, the trackers, commentators, just everything to try to get things going here. Is up2ng now in Garen's grave and is just 10 experience away from the next level, level 12. We'll see if he'll be able to hang it all the way deep into the grave. Meanwhile, jkoper and Sparkover are on the cusp of level 11.
Sparkover has now found the mountain cave, which, correct me if I'm wrong, was the last location other than Cantlin that we have not found up to this point.
That is correct. And 15 power, 1 speed, 4 magic points, and I'm sorry, a magic key on Sparkover's side. Also a fairy water.
I will slightly amend my statement. I don't believe we'd seen Charlotte Castle either. And we have the Stones of Sunlight, which means now we're just looking to see if we can find Erdrick's sword anywhere. Otherwise, we are effectively in go mode. Well, we still need to find Cantlin for the armor, but we at least have the items to get us into Charlotte Castle.
So yeah, the last 2 treasure chests potentially able to be found here if Sparkover can get all the way there, and there's a treasure box, and it contains a magic key.
And I wonder if she's now going to attempt the gold grind. Yeah, you can see her using the dragon scale here. That's a trick you can do to basically skip your turn if you're trying to death warp out for a gold grind, or just to get, if you don't have enough magic points to cast outside or something like that. You can use the dragon scale or the fighter's ring, and it will basically count as an empty turn, so the monster can keep attacking you over and over again.
And meanwhile, up2ng did go all the way deep into the grave, and it was a cursed belt. So what this means, as WMD now getting up to level 12, is that Erdrick's sword, the best sword in the game, is going to be in Charlotte Castle.
Interestingly, it also means that both the Death Necklace and the Fighter's Ring will also be in Charlotte Castle. So that is going to be one very valuable treasury. Sparkover is doing her gold grind now, and I'm suspecting that up2ng is about to begin his.
So we have dueling gold grinds between Sparkover and up2ng.
Now it is interesting that jkoper decided to grind an extra 10,000 basically to be able to afford the magic armor if he found it anywhere. But we have not found that yet. Ooh, and level 12 with a 15 strength increase. That's very nice. But we haven't found anything yet, so unless there's something in Cantlin, that extra portion of the gold grind's probably not going to do a whole lot for him. Sparkover, on the other hand, did decide to stop near the 25,000 mark because she has not yet seen magic armor.
An upgrade to a half plate for jkoper. So now Sparkover going to try to head to do some shopping and avoid getting mugged. Thank you, Dataplet, for asking that, or answering that rhetorical question. I believe in this case it means half thickness. So jkoper hitting the jackpot in Garenham. And is going to see the tablet cave now.
WMD deciding to spend his time taking out a golem.
And we have the silver shield for Sparkover. And a flame sword as well. And up to NG, right on her trail.
It's interesting to me. I believe that the Rainbow Drop Cave is the cave that's right next to Cole, and Sparkover did not opt to stop by it, even though she has all of the elements needed to make the Rainbow Drop.
So jkoper's been roaming and buying. Meanwhile, WMD's been doing some grinding. So about a 600 experience lead. And now Sparkover is in Garen's grave. Now we know that Garen's grave is not required. But she'll be able to stock up on herbs here. And a cave that I don't know if we've seen or not on up to NG's side. But we must have as he's walking past it. And up to NG working on a metal slime. It just has but 3 hit points. It's very difficult to hit, and an excellent move on up to NG's part. A critical hit, so that's going to get him a nice 255 experience bonus. That is the maximum. And jkoper almost buying a bamboo pole in place of the flame sword. Thankfully, canceling out of that before it happens. So with our runners here hovering around level 11 and 12, their hit points are right around the 100 mark. Their magic points are in the mid-70s. A nice strength boost from 11 to 12. So looking at up2ng, for example, 73 strength with the flame sword, 101 attack power. So we're hovering. We're getting into some orangish area, but still a ways to go and still a few errands to run. Oh, and WMD got up to 13.
Is that a 20 agility boost I see?
That would be correct.
That's the equivalent of having purchased a large shield for your defense.
Yes, as your defense is calculated by 1/2 of your agility score, as now jkoper taking out a metal slime. 1/2 of your agility score plus the defense points that your various armor and other armor, shield, and other protective gear give you. In this case, the dragon scale giving the 2 points, and your armor and shield. So among our 4 runners, the highest defense at the moment is jkoper with 70 defense, thanks to that silver shield. Now here comes 13 for up2ng, and there's the 3 power, 20 speed, and 7 hit points.
And up2ng is getting close to thinking about the damage breaking formulas in Sharlock. Once at 80, you will damage break, or defense break the wizard. At 86, you will defense break the
werewolf and star wyvern.
Yeah, that one. And at 88, you'll defense break the green dragon. And so that can be really nice when you're trying to make your dive into Sharlock, and those monsters can't do any real damage to you.
Yeah, once that damage break formula has occurred, the most that the star wyvern and werewolf will be able to hit you for is 15 hit points, and the least will be a miss for 0. So some item purchasing on Sparkover's end, a trip to 6 Towns Inn, actually Sparkover and up2ng both in Breckenary, spending the 6 gold to recover at the inn. jkoper doing a little exploration heading southwest, and WMD heading to the south as well. And here's level 12 for Sparkover.
I'll take a minute to note how it's actually very rare you are seeing the vanilla sprites on jkoper, WMD, and up2ng's screen. There has been a large number of new sprites that have been added to the randomizer, thanks to the work of Zarnax42. And as you can see, Sparkover is, I believe, the female soldier from Dragon Warrior 3. But all the NES Dragon Warrior sprites are there, and I believe all the Final Fantasy I sprites are also available, and so you often see a lot of players go with all the new sprites. It's very unusual to actually see this many of the vanilla heroes on the screen.
And I do want to give an update for those who may or may not have had their eye on the quad race that was going on that started about 2.5 hours ago over on Randomania 2. A quad between BTs, the Alan Heffley, that was one of the one-on-one matchups, and the other being Z-Man against Synthpop is back. Synthpop actually had forfeited about an hour and a half ago. Not sure what the exact reasoning was for that. But Z-Man finishing and officially taking the victory, but a time of 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 42 seconds. I can only imagine how much of a beast that seed was. And BTs and the Alan Heffley still racing, so they're, I would imagine, working on eclipsing the 2.5 hour mark in that seed.
And seeds like that are such a drain, because you spend the last hour of that seed staring at IRC, nervous that your opponent's going to done at any given point.
Yeah, the longer it goes, especially if you're struggling, the more you're sweating bullets and then some. As up2ng now, well, with a nice experience lead over Sparkover here, although Sparkover taking out a Metal Slime to chip into that. jkoper, meanwhile, just eclipsing the 5,000 experience mark as well, has about another 550 to go to get to level 14. But that lead pretty minimal over WMD, who's hanging in there and is just before 5,000 experience himself.
Meanwhile, jkoper has, as the first of our runners to find Cantlin, he uses that extra money he has to go ahead and buy a magic armor while he goes and searches for Erdrick's armor.
And he's going to get the coordinates to find out exactly where that is now. And it's going to be 86 south and 28 west.
That feels like it's probably going to require the Princess, especially on this map. It's very windy. That may be a little beyond reasonable counting range.
I would wholeheartedly agree. So that means back to Swamp Cave and having to deal with that golem in order to rescue the princess.
jkoper opting not to cast Return there, which is what I thought he might do, because I'm not sure what else he'd be searching for at this point, except I guess if he wants to find Charlock, see if it's nearby.
Well, what jkoper will realize that he's looking for is the mountain cave, as he has not yet acquired the Stones of Sunlight.
Ah, yes, I missed that. Thank you.
Yeah, the only of our runners to have been in the mountain cave and acquired those Stones of Sunlight is Sparkover. Who I think at this point is just looking for, well, I believe looking for the Rainbow Drop Cave and looking to get Erdrick's sword. So I don't believe she's found Cantlin as of yet, has she?
I believe jkoper and now WMD are the only ones to have found Cantlin. I don't believe they've been found by Sparkover or up2ng.
That might be what she's looking for, is now up to level 13 goes Sparkover. As WMD browsing, but not quite there, and here comes 14. With 7 power, 13 speed, 3 hit points, 9 response points, and 9 magic points rather, and a new spell.
And at this point, you've got to start thinking, or start considering the damage calculations for the Dragon Lord, because even though right now up2ng's attack power is only 111, he will eventually know that Erdrick's sword is in Charlock, so you can go ahead and count on adding another 12 attack power to that. And the Fighter's Ring is also in Charlock, so you could really likely bank on adding 14 to that, providing the Fighter's Ring isn't in the vanilla Erdrick sword location, and you wouldn't feel like going and searching for just that.
And with that high agility, is now jkoper getting to level 14. My goodness, these numbers are popping up here.
Yeah, with that magic armor that jkoper has, given the agility, he's actually now defense breaking the Axe Knights, which is not something you see very frequently. And once he gets Erdrick's armor, he'll be defense breaking the Blue Dragons as well.
Yeah, already with a defense power of 95 defense points, needing 94 to damage break the Axe Knights. So the most that they'll be able to do is 16 hit points of damage.
Up2ng has now obtained his coordinates. And we see Charlock on up2ng's side. I don't know if we had seen that on jkoper or WMD's side yet, but we now have a Charlock sighting.
We do, and considering how windy this map has been, I couldn't tell you how to get there.
According to our tracker, Ali Jabrat, jkoper did indeed see Charlock. And it is also on WMD's screen now, so...
jkoper now in the swamp cave and sees that the golem, all with an ambush attack, is
only doing 18 damage thanks to the high defense power.
Yeah, that's something that you often see. And another update here in terms of the other race on the other channel, as BT's has defeated the Alan Heffley. BT's finishing in 2 hours, 35 minutes, and 56 seconds. The Alan Heffley looking to finish it out. So BT's going to go to 2-1 in these Swiss rounds, and the Alan Heffley has just forfeited.
I wouldn't blame him after that long of a seed.
And so WMD now up to level 14, and jkoper with the princess about to get Gwaelin's love, and Sparkover having acquired the rainbow drop. So now for her, it's a matter of finding the right equipment to take on the Dragon Lord and getting a couple of more levels, and off to the races it'll be. Well, if the radar runners are going, they're definitely going to acquire the stats as they do their shopping here. And run the last little bits of errands, as now up2ng has found the mountain cave. So he's going to, tough enemies pending, acquire the Stones of Sunlight.
And since he already has the coordinates, and I assume knows where the Rainbow Drop Cave is, since it's just a few steps from Cole, that will put him pretty much in go mode. And with the amount of defense that they're going to have at that point, might think he would go ahead and just dive into Charlock to see if he can find that sword.
And there are the Stones of Sunlight for up2ng.
Now, the fact that Erdrick's sword is in Charlock could be interesting in the lower race, because jkoper attempted to dive into the grave and died before finding that last treasure chest, which we know is nothing, but he does not. And once you've searched the mountain cave fully and found everything else, then there's just that one chest and the chest in Charlock, and you have to wonder, is he going to bank on the fact that there's more chests in Charlock and just hope that that's the case? Or is he going to make that dive back into Garen's grave? And if so, that could be a significant time loss.
And jkoper has just acquired Erdrick's armor. So in terms of defense, jkoper is doing pretty doggone good. With 99 defense points, the only enemies that are going to do significant damage at this point, there are just 4 of them. The Red Dragon, the Golem, the Armored Knight, and the Stone Man. Everything else is going to hit for 17 or less hit points. Now, by comparison, the attack levels, there's still a little ways to go on that.
And now jkoper and WMD have also found the mountain cave, and so we will, in a few moments here, all of our players will have all of the key items they need to get into Charlock.
In a little bit, we will see what level 15 brings, and that may perhaps be the difference.
It's also impressive there's less than 1,000 difference between all of our runners here. So if it comes to a situation where they have to grind for a lot of attack power, it's going to be a very close race. We don't have anybody that has a significant grinding advantage right now.
Well, WMD just picking up the Stones of Sunlight. Now, what may be a concern here, I don't believe that WMD has he gone to Hawksness? So if that's the case, I believe he would still have to acquire Erdrick's token.
And that's a good point. It does not appear that he has Erdrick's token yet.
And now here are the Stones of Sunlight for jkoper. So up2ng working on a golem, and WMD is in the swamp cave. Perhaps also looking to get the princess.
looks like that up2ng is actually grinding this golem at the moment. He's fought him twice, and then after fighting him this time, he will see level 15.
And WMD working on the golem as well. jkoper now back in Tangential Castle. And up2ng running low on resources here.
And absolutely nothing from that level. Just a few magic points, and that's it. So we'll be grinding at least to level 16.
Yeah, wow. 2 agility and 5 MP. That looks to be it.
That 2 agility will be enough, though, for jkoper when he hits it to be defense-breaking Stoneman as well, having reached 100 defense power.
So up2ng and WMD88 both receiving the love of Gwaelin. So they'll be able to use her love to acquire the positioning in the overworld. It's what's jokingly known in the community as the GPS, the Gwaelin Positioning System. She will tell you where she is in relation to you in the overworld, because with her numerous utterances of "but thou must," you know that it's all about her. So there is level 15 for jkoper.
And now up2ng is going for the Armored Knight grind. Interesting that he's opting to do this before seeking out the Erdrick's armor.
Speaking of which, Sparkover about to get her coordinates. And WMD was in the Swamp Cave. And is on the cusp of a level as well. So up2ng perhaps trying to get to the experience number of 9750 to get to level 16. And meanwhile, Sparkover looking to acquire the princess. And WMD might be a little bit on the panicky side here as we have crossed the 80-minute mark in this seed. perhaps a little indecisive on where to head next.
Given that the most likely grind spot for anybody is probably going to be exactly where up2ng is doing it, these Armored Knights who go down pretty quickly, the lack of a weapon on WMD's side, or having only the copper sword, may not prove to be that significant of a difference. But he is the one player who did not gold grind, and therefore is going to be under-equipped, or is currently under-equipped compared to the others, and will continue to be under-equipped only in the sense of diving into Charlock with a lesser weapon and not having the silver shield. With the agility we have, not having the silver shield probably won't end up being that significant. I'm not sure how significant a weaker weapon's going to be.
And with up2ng out of resources, going to death warp back to the castle, and it looks like fighting his way down through Charlock is jkoper, and considering how many of the enemies won't be able to do nearly as much damage, not a bad play, as WMD now up to level 15.
WMD has come across Hawksness now, so he will be able to get his token.
And up2ng is acquiring the rainbow drop. And WMD has acquired Erdrick's token. About 50 minutes later than his opponent.
Sparkover has become the second of our players here to obtain the Erdrick's armor. And with that, just like with jkoper, she is completely in go mode and could head right to... looks like she will be heading right toward Charlock, probably after a stop in the Cantlin Inn.
And WMD going to stop and pick up an herb on the way here. So up2ng with a pretty significant experience lead over Sparkover. I would imagine at this point Sparkover's challenge has been looking for Charlock Castle, because everything else is everything else she has.
Yeah, when she got her coordinates at Cantlin, she used the well, now she's found it. She had used the barriers to death warp away, and so she never went north from Cantlin like the other players had done. But she has clearly found Charlock now and is making her way in.
And we have a question in chat: how are Sparkover's stats for Charlock? I think we can bring up the stats on the over, on the layout here for everybody to see. As up2ng now going up to level 16, 4 power, 1 speed, 4 hit points, and 8 magic points. Now, the numbers that you see there, the orange means that they're borderline, the green means they are good to go, and they have agility and then some, despite the fact that they have strength HP builds. And now here comes level 15 for Sparkover. And the chests at the bottom, we've got the Death Necklace. We have a Cursed Belt. We have some gold. There's Erdrick's Sword. And some more gold. And the Fighter's Ring. So all the things there in the basement. Now, Erdrick's Sword, the best sword in the game, so that's going to add another 12 attack power to his total. And putting on the Fighter's Ring, that's going to add another 2 attack power. So I think jkoper is good to go.
Unfortunately, with 125 attack power and 108 hit points, 92 magic points, I don't think that's still going to be enough to take on the Dragon Lord. That attack power just is going to need a few more double attacks or some more MP, so I'm not sure, and with the MP that jkoper has, I don't think he's going to be attempting the Dragon Lord on this dive either. He's probably looking to get information on what the Guardian for the Dragon Lord is, and see if that's potentially grindable.
Yeah, even with that attack boost of 14, 125. Once he gets to that second form of the Dragon Lord, you're looking at an attack range of 6 to 12, I believe.
Even at level 16, like up2ng is, it still is probably pretty dicey. It'll have attack power up to 129, which will be the 7 to 14 range. But with 112 HP, it's unlikely to get many double attacks, and 100 MP is only going to be 12 heal more, so it's doable, but don't think it's a high probability fight. But I usually get in trouble when I try to do math during a broadcast, so.
Well, taking out the Golem, and that is going to get him to level 16, so he's going to get the 4 power, the 1 response speed, 4 and 8. And is immediately casting outside. And question in chat, the experience needed to get to level 17, that target number is 12,000. So from level 16 to 17, it's a 2,250 experience jump.
And up2ng is making use of the fact that he's defense breaking everything in order to grind his level 17 on his way down to the basement.
Although that's one that he can't handle. So the WMD back in Garen's grave. Perhaps looking to go all the way to the bottom, thinking that might be where the sword is. So Sparkover just moments away here from getting all the goodies, the Fighter's Ring, the Erdrick Sword, and the Death Necklace. And Sparkover, after putting everything on, casting outside, not bothering to check what the mini-boss is. I guess figuring with her statistics that won't be that big of a deal necessarily, but we'll see, is now up2ng making that beeline.
It's a shame we didn't see the Axonite somewhere for grinding, because not only do we have them defense broken in this seed, but they also consistently cast Hurt, which is the kind of Axonite you like to see.
Yeah, doing very minimal damage, both in terms of attack as well as the spell. Although jkoper finding an Axonite here, and WMD is walking out of the grave the long way. I'm not sure if this is setting up a gold grind at this point, or... I mean, he has enough magic points to cast outside.
On the other side, up2ng managed to pick the Erdrick Sword and Fighter's Ring chest as his first two, and immediately leaves the Charlotte Treasury without bothering to check any of the other chests, which, of course, nothing's really needed here with the HP totals they have. The Death Necklace isn't used much, but managed to only have to open those two chests.
And up2ng, having all of his magic points, is strongly considering making a run, and frankly is only 262 experience away from getting level 17. So whatever additional bonuses there are here may push it over the top.
And jkoper is going after the Dragon Lord at level 16 here, so we'll see what he can do with it.
And meanwhile, here's level 6.
2, 2, 2, 2.
And here's Dragon Lord 2, no back attack. So starting off with 12 for jkoper. Able to get the double here for another 12, so that's 24. And another 13, so some good rolls here. We're up to 37. And here's another 9. First single-digit roll. So up to 55, and now we've got another 11 to make 66. So averaging 11 per attack so far. The range is from 7 to 14, so slightly better than average. And there's an 8 to bring it to 74. And another 13, so we're up to 87. Another 13 to bring it up to an even 100. Now, the Dragon Lord has anywhere between 150 to 165 hit points. Oh, and there's a low roll of 7, not what he was looking for there. Down to just 3 more heal mores. There's another 13 to get to 120. Down to his last 2. Oh, and there's an 8. 128 now. Able to get a double attack for a 9. That's 137. There's another 8 for 145. And another 10 for 155. So this next attack could do it here, and it does. 14, getting that max roll for 169, and jkoper is going to get on the board. Is going to go to 1 and 2, and is going to get the accolades in just a matter of moments, and the accolades already coming out in chat. The GGs across the board here. It's an official SRL time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 36 seconds for jkoper.
Meanwhile, up2ng is currently trying to grind to 18 down here on the basement of Charlock, while Sparkover just hit level 16. I'm curious if she thinks she has a chance with these stats at now at 16. But jkoper went into his battle with the Dragon Lord with 10 more MP than Sparkover would be going in at this point. And of course, it took jkoper to his very last hit to finish the Dragon Lord off. So it's going to be a risky proposition to try to take him on at 16 for Sparkover.
Meanwhile, up2ng trying to make his way to level 18 and is just 207 experience away from doing so.
And this golem will definitely fill in that gap.
Meanwhile, Sparkover is going to head over to the Dragon Lord as level 17's experience is 12,000, so she's just under 1,700 away from that.
Meanwhile, level 18 had 12 power.
12, 3, 1, and 18, and I think that is going to do it for up2ng, but both are on the Dragon Lord as we speak. So with that added strength gain, even though Sparkover got to the Dragon Lord first, up2ng able to hit harder, but oh, there's a back attack. And a low roll of 10. As up2ng, you can do between 10 and 21 hit points of damage. WMD, meanwhile, getting the coordinates to the Erdrick's armor, but back and forth between the two here. Hard to keep count of both at the same time.
The thing at this point that's really tough for Sparkover is because of the attack power advantage that up2ng has, even if she manages to get the rolls necessary to defeat the Dragon Lord, it's unlikely that she'll be able to do it fast enough to kill him faster than up2ng is going to. But so far, these rolls have not been kind to Sparkover.
Yeah, lots of single digits as the range is between 7 to 14 and a lot of 8s, 9s, and 10s. As noted by Sports Hefe in chat. Meanwhile, you've got a 19 on up2ng's side. And the crowd thinking there might be a YOLO Hurtmore coming, and up2ng has defeated the Dragon Lord. up2ng opting to grind to level 18, and with the huge power boost, that certainly ended up making the difference. So chat, get out your GGs for up2ng, who's going to finish with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 31 seconds.
And Sparkover not able to finish off the Dragon Lord. She really thought about doing the Hurtmore there, but opted to go for the Healmore, I guess. With her count, it still had a chance of going with just the attacks.
And with that, up2ng is the fourth to officially qualify for the bracket stage, but still has some work to do, as another victory will enable him to get a bye into the second round of the bracket stage. But for now, up2ng joining Centroid 41, Jackamus, and Ness Cardinality in the bracket stage of the tournament, which will be a few weeks away, heading into September here among the Randomania networks.
And I do think we're about to see WMD make his Sharlock dive here.
And we are joined by jkoper. Congratulations and GG.
Thank you.
Well, I was going to say, first off, talk a little bit about the early game. What was going through your mind as a lot of those early enemies just obliterating with hurt spells, and with Dragon Lord 2 just starting off at those early levels?
Yeah, I spent quite a while hoping to find just a little something to give me an edge early, since we had such low strength and no useful spells other than Stop Spell, which was only barely useful to start. And Yeah. Oh, the only thing that was truly safe was the slimes and you know, of the things that could possibly be killed. The red slimes had regular breath, which I still managed to kill probably more than my fair share of the red slimes, based on how often they should have killed me, I think. I don't know what their chance was to have breathe fire, but yeah, I felt like I got away with some of them for sure. But yeah, I always like to make sure I do my initial exploration at the start, so a lot of people go straight to grinding, and because I didn't find anything, I always feel like I'm behind at that point. So really, I felt like I was behind for most of the race. Particularly I put so much focus on getting through the swamp cave and everything, and the only thing that was on the other side was Hawksness. And then I did get the Armored Knight down really early, and that was just a token. So I was probably the first person with the token, but that's not nearly as big a deal as it would have been if it was the armor or something. So, I don't know.
As I'm looking here, actually, as far as getting the token, you were third amongst the four, but not by much. up2ng got it about 26 minutes and change in. Sparkover getting the token just before the half-hour mark, and you were right there around the 32-minute mark. So, pretty swift between the three of you overall.
Hey, what's going on? I heard my name.
up2ng with us in chat. Congratulations in GG with your victory over Sparkover.
Oh, thank you so much. And first of all, I definitely want to thank Reusation before I forget, our restreamer. We almost didn't get this restream tonight, which would have been a shame. I think it probably was a really good race. Can't wait to watch it. And, the rest of the crew, thank you guys as well. But at short notice, we got a restreamer last minute, which was fantastic. So appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Ryu. If anyone who's listening is interested in restreaming races, and you're, not a terrible person, and you have a decent computer, ask someone about it, because we can always use more people to restream. And there's so many tournaments going on at the same time, and we have places to put them, but not people to put them there sometimes. So I think we'd appreciate help.
Most certainly. It was a challenge and then some, as there were 7 races that were going on just for this tournament alone, all within a roughly 4-hour span. So to have that much personnel to be able to commentate and restream and track and everything of that nature, it is a challenge. So the more folks that are in there, the easier it certainly is. And you can definitely join the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Discord to get more information as far as how you can be a part of everything here.
So, quick question for the commentator. I don't know if you happen to track timestamps for getting to level 2 and getting to level 3, but I'm sure we all felt a little stressed about that. That was very slow.
I actually was taking notes on that. I missed when you'd gotten... I was going to say, you were the only one that I missed as far as getting to level 3, but jkoper was the quickest to level 2 at just before the 7-minute mark, followed by WMD at about 8.5 minutes. up2ng, you were just before 12 minutes, and Sparkover was maybe about 25 seconds after you were.
Okay, yeah, that's about what I figured where I probably fell. I got to 3 at 18. I felt like my progression from 2 to 3 was pretty quick, but 1 to 2 was real slow. 18 minutes flat for level 3 for me.
Okay, so it was your 3 to 4 that was pretty quick then, as it was 18 minutes flat for you. jkoper was about 3 minutes prior to that at the 15-minute mark. WMD was about 41 seconds after that, and Sparkover was about 16:40. So, yeah, it was a pretty rough go just in those early levels, and then level 4 brought Hurtmore, and that just pushed everything out the window.
All right, so everyone found a faster way to get to level 3 then. That's interesting. I can't wait to watch it. It's just that when it starts like that, it just, you look at your clock and you're 20 minutes in, you haven't done anything yet, and it just feels like, stressful. So, and then we got the early Hurtmore, it just became a sprint. It was just wild. I found that map to be pretty challenging. I found myself recovering some areas a few different times. It was very large, and I felt like it was pretty challenging.
I didn't really have any issues with it. Maybe I just took some correct turns. But, you know, I explored some dead ends, but there was just a lot of them. But I didn't go to the whole southeast corner of the map. And I think I might have got a little lucky in that respect, because there wasn't anything of note down there.
Yeah, it was definitely windy overall, especially with those coordinates, the 86 south and 28 west.
Although I think the second continent was down in the southeast corner, so I don't know how much the first continent really extended down there.
Yeah, the coordinates were a bummer for me because I had checked out that spike tile a little bit early on, and it was a golem at the time. We just couldn't beat it, and I was trying to figure out a way to go there again to get the princess ahead of time, and it just like never worked out for me. So by the time I got the coordinates, I didn't even have the princess yet, so it was like a whole extra trip to go all the way back down to where the coordinates were. So yeah, that happened. It was like on my mind the whole time, but I never had like a good opportunity to beat the golem and get the princess. So it's one of those things.
And mentioning some of those early enemies, to answer your question, jkoper, the red slime was 75% to use that normal dragon breath, or the baby breath as it's known.
I got super lucky with them then.
Yeah, they were like 15 for 15 against me on that. I never saw them do anything but breath on that. I still went after them on level 2 because we could withstand one shot. So I figured I could 2-shot the red slimes enough and then just die and do it again. But yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. Often still taking a shot from them, but 2-shotting them usually because I'd get 1 hit for 1 HP and another hit for 2 HP. So, yeah, I don't know. It was working pretty well. A crucial moment, probably the worst moment at the beginning for me, was when I fought a ghost and did stop spell against him and was chipping him down like 1 HP at a time, and I must have been like 1 HP away from killing him, but it took like a solid 2 minutes probably for me to get through that fight.
Yeah, I know. I've looked into some of the early monsters before, and at 6 strength, there's like you do really poorly against ghosts for whatever reason. It's the same with 5 strength against drakies. So I did realize that we could have tried that though with stop spell, and maybe that's how some people got to level 2, but just seemed, I knew it would take a really long time to beat a ghost. It's just like, ugh. But there wasn't really a great option, and finally I found the blue slimes in the south zone, and I was actually not sure if everybody was going to find it.
No, I was walking the desert down there at the start. I don't know what everyone was doing, but I was definitely walking down there a bit until I got my level up a bit.
And it looks as though Sparkover has finished as well. It's going to finish with an official time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 27 seconds. You'll see it up2ng on the restream, or on the VOD rather, I should say. But at the point that you were taking on the Dragon Lord at 18, she had just gotten to the Dragon Lord at 16, and you were simultaneously fighting. But that extra power boost at 18, that looked to be the difference as you had eclipsed and then some. And she ended up falling to that Dragon Lord fight. And,
okay.
It was neck and neck right at that point.
It felt like 16 and 17 were just like not quite enough, and I made that decision to just not do it, and I stayed like right there near the mini boss for like a whole level. And that's like another thing that's stressful to do because, you know, your opponent obviously can walk right past you, and like, you know, it felt like you could have won on those levels. It was just like I just didn't want to risk it because it was a really long walk back to Sharlock from Tantegel. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just getting another level. We were defense breaking everything, and I don't know. That was a weird spot. I don't know if everybody won at 18 or if anyone managed it before, but yeah,
I won at 16.
Oh wow, okay, so it was possible.
Yeah, I won on my last hit with you know, no MP, very little HP left, and I got one double from the hits. I didn't think that the doubles were really unlikely because there was enough HP and we had such high agility that they're a pretty decent chance of the Dragon Lord hitting us for a small attack. But I got just that one, and then that's what I needed apparently. Then my last hit was for 14, so I don't know what his HP was, but that was a very comforting number to see.
And you got a smooth Dragon Lord 1 and you had no back attack, I guess, because those are the things that can screw you too.
Yeah, I did not have a back attack. Dragon Lord 1 was kind of absurd. I attacked him, he did a stop spell, I attacked again, didn't kill him, he did a hurt more, I herbed, he did a stop spell, and then I killed him. So yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, I can't even remember what else happened in that seed. I just felt like, for me, I felt like I was running out of time getting all this stuff because I was starting to get to level 13, 14. There were still like 5 or 6 places I hadn't found yet, and I knew that I needed Cantlin for the coordinates. I knew very quickly that the armor was on the map, and I still needed one of the dungeons for the stones, and we hadn't found the sword, so it was just like, all right, where are these caves and stuff? I was like wandering this what felt like a really big map, and I felt like I'm running out of time because if you get to the level where you're ready to fight the Dragon Lord and you're just looking around for stuff, now you're just in big trouble. So yeah,
it sounds like we had very similar runs because most of the stuff that you said is pretty true for me as well. No, I had to find Cantlin for a long time. I had to find a cave with the stones, probably in the mountain cave, and then had to worry about the sword for a while. I didn't get to the bottom of the grave. I got the first 4 chests, and I didn't find Rimuldar. So, it was very nice to find that in the castle.
I think I see Sparkover in here, but her little mic symbol is muted there. Oh, here we go.
Hi. I was just letting you talk.
GG!
Yeah, nice job. That was a big mess on my side for sure. Pretty much, I think my biggest problem was not finding Cantlin and Sherlock, and I spent a lot of late game time looking for those.
Yeah, it was interesting that everybody else had found Sherlock and Cantlin, but nobody else had found the mountain cave. Meanwhile, you had the Stones of Sunlight for a long time before anybody else, but so you guys kind of flipped positions there, and they were all looking for the stones while you were looking for Cantlin.
Yeah, it was about a 25-minute, close to a 25-minute differential. You'd found the Stones of Sunlight about 47.5 minutes in. The next person wasn't until up2ng who found it about just over an hour and 10 minutes in. And by that point, you already had the rainbow drop and were, I believe at that point, looking for the armor.
I was lost.
Oh, wow, you had the drop really early and you just couldn't get the armor? Wow.
I just totally missed the little turn-off to Cantlin through the Miracle Swamp. And then when I found it, I pretty much knew everything had to be there, so, I mean, it went on from there, but I felt like I was probably really behind by that point. My first fight with the Dragon Lord was a lot of fun. I went at level 16 with level 15's MP. It was actually kind of an exciting fight, but in the end, as just in the other race that I ran, I rolled way too many 8s.
Well, it was also exciting because as you were working on the Dragon Lord, up2ng had grinded up to level 18 and was fighting the Dragon Lord at the same time that you were. So it was very tense, very neck and neck. But up2ng having there was a pretty decent boost of, I think it was 12 attack or 12 strength at level 18, wow. And that just allowed him to catch up with
I was saying
143.
I was telling them before you got in, I just wasn't sure that we could do it at that level, and it was such a long walk to Sherlock that I just stayed there and just grinded another level, like right next to the Dragon Lord. It was just I wasn't sure if that was the right thing to do or not, but because it was really close. I figured it could be possible at 16 or 17, but I don't know. I just decided to get another level.
I mean, I felt like level 16 was pretty free, but that might have also been because I tried it with, you know, the level 15 MP first, so I don't know. I think I'm used to having half the agility that I did today, so having that and some HP, I figured double attacks would be a thing, so I don't know. I'm also sometimes just a very bad judge of this, and that makes me make some bad decisions sometimes, but
yeah, I won at 16.
Nice.
I got level 16 in Sharlock after I got the sword, and then I outside and went back to whatever that town is back there, and healed, and then went down and beat him. I got one double attack, and then I beat him on my last hit. So it was very close.
And meanwhile, WMD is now in the treasury. He had actually, I guess, decided to play against the odds, figuring, I guess, how troublesome the seed was for him, and went to the vanilla chest first, which had a dragon scale, and is now in the Sharlock treasury and has the sword and the fighter's ring and low resources. So I would imagine is casting outside and is going to heal up and give it a go here currently at level 17.
Yeah, 17 wasn't a whole lot better than 16. I know that. So we'll see how it goes for him.
Yeah, I believe the gains were 2, 2, 2, and 2 for the 4 statistics.
So Sparkover, we kind of talked to jkoper and up2ng about this, but what were your thoughts at the beginning of the seed?
It was a struggle. Finding the proper enemies to kill was tricky. I was actually kind of surprised when the red slime I found, it had the fire breath, because the first one I killed showed no sign of that at all. But I don't know. It took a little while to find just the regular slimes, but they seem to be okay. I think, honestly, what frustrated me more wasn't the first couple levels, but just a little bit after that, like when I was, like, just after you got hurt more, but weren't quite super high level, I found a wolf, like, once, and then after that I could only find armored knights, but I wouldn't have enough health to get 2 hurtmores on them. That frustrated me, because for a little while all I was doing was dying to the higher level enemies, trying to find darn Zone 2.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess it just kind of depends on where you went. I had gone through that little swamp there, and in that desert, there were some droll magi and stuff like that, but I think I also died like once or twice finding whatever else was there, like a blue dragon or whatever, but yeah, finally, once you got a couple of kills and got those next couple of levels, it was at least a little easier, but yeah, I can understand that. That was frustrating.
So, a question for you guys. I found a blue dragon really early, or maybe an armored knight. I found a lot of bad stuff once I got out of the swamp, and died a few times, and that's why I stuck around the beginning and was hurt more in things like the Magidrakis at the start. But anyway, one thing I didn't see that I can remember is a red dragon at any point.
Huh.
Did you guys see any?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, right at the very end when I was trying to find the armor, I walked a little bit into that southeast area that you had mentioned, just kind of slightly going the wrong way, and there were some over there, but other than that, I didn't see any on the map.
I see. But if you guys watched my race against BT, I know where all those red dragons went. They were all there. So.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big enemies actually ended up having hurt. It just seemed like there was experience everywhere for a while, and I just felt like I needed to find, the caves and stuff. It was like, wow, here's another Axe Knight. I'm gonna take him down. It was like we're getting experience so fast that I was a little worried that I was gonna run out of time just finding the items.
I had that concern too. I really felt like my levels were getting there, and no armor, no Sherlock. It's like, well, how much in trouble am I compared to what the others have found? I don't know. There's always a sense of dread when you go off onto this far-off peninsula, find Breckenary, find the grave with nothing in it, go explore the other island and find nothing on it, and you're like, well, that was a good 25 minutes, except it actually wasn't. So, those are my feelings around the probably hour and a half-ish, hour 20-ish minute mark.
Yeah, sounds like all three of us had those same thoughts, and it just seems like you just ended up failing a dive, so it was a long walk for you to try again, and we got there on our first dive, so, but yeah, we had similar problems, it sounds like.
Well, my dive definitely I wasn't super confident in myself, but I figured I was behind at that point for all the searching and doing nothing I found, and I thought it was just close enough that it was worth a shot, so. But as it turned out, even if that attempt had made it, you beat me, like you had finished, I think, just before I had died, so yeah, wouldn't have been enough anyway, but I mean, honestly, that first fight was fun at least.
That's all that matters. We're all having fun.
Most certainly are. So, as far as the standings in the Swiss rounds here, jkoper, with your victory, that puts you to 1-2, and with the running of the table here, can get you to qualify for the tournament. Sparkover, you are now at 2-1. So if nothing else, you've at least qualified for the play-in, but another victory, and you're in a winning you're in situation. And up2ng, you are now the fourth to qualify for the bracket stage, joining Nest Cardinality and Jackamus and Centroid 41.
All right, sounds like fun. There's going to be so much in the last round. There's going to be all these spots being filled at the last minute. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it feels good to win a race, for sure. I don't feel like I played poorly in either of my first two. But there are a lot of capable people at this race, or this game, I mean. It doesn't really take much to be capable. It just takes learning and some decent exploration and decision-making skills. So, yeah. It's good to get one in. Nothing's ever given in this game.
Yeah, and this field, I mean, compared to the two previous years of this tournament, I mean, is just so deep and so many talented individuals. I mean, it's you look up and down, and no matter who you're facing, there's nobody really that you can go, oh man, I can't wait to take on this person. It's oh geez, I have to go against so and so, because there are so many great people here.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I love the community. I was just trying to check in and see what happened with WMD. Did he fail a dive? I see he's at the Dragon Lord now.
Well, he had taken the previous dive was more of an exploration and finding the sword dive. As by the time he finally got to the sword, after detouring initially to search the vanilla chest, he only had 21 MP, so there was no way that a fight was going to occur. But in the meanwhile, had fought up to level 18 and has just decimated Dragon Lord 1. So at level 18, this should be a pretty winnable fight and then some. And I mean, WMD has, in terms of the draws, probably has had the most uphill battle without question. I mean, starting off taking on Mr. Holmes, and then in round 2 going up against Game Boy F9. So, I don't know, taking on previous champions in the first 2 rounds, maybe that's an omen for jkoper this year. Who knows?
Yeah, and the way it all works, WMD still has a shot here, right? You can win your last 2 and get in the play-in race. So hopefully he'll have a good shot at it next week.
What's WMD's status here?
He's right now on Dragon Lord 2 and is, I was going to say, should be able to take it here, but should for some reason this run fail, then we will be wrapping things up here and we'll be sending things over to a host to WMD. But given that the attack range, I mean, he's hitting between 10 and 21 per swipe, with the 163 hit points that Dragon Lord 2 has. It was on the higher side, but and the fact that he's down there with pretty much all 120 MP, I think 14 heal mores, so just a little less than. And yep, there it is. WMD has taken out Dragon Lord 2. So get out your GGs in chat, as WMD is going to finish here with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 31 seconds.
But yeah, he has certainly run into some very capable racers, so he seems to have a sense of humor about it. He's having fun, which is what it's all about. So, and I'm already looking forward to next week. And, I know we still have some great races coming up this week too.
Yeah, things were pretty jam-packed today with these 7 races over the course of today, or well, yesterday if you're here on the East Coast. But we still have 8 more races in the 3rd Swiss round coming up over the course of the next 4 days between Thursday and Sunday. And they all certainly should be some goodies. I know that scheduled, at least as far as I've seen, for tomorrow, I believe we have Caton619 taking on Will Wagner Music, if I remember right. I believe that is scheduled for tomorrow. And then also Azrael Ravenheart and JJ Schmidt 77, the battle of the remaining 2 2-0 racers. The both of those set for 9 and 10:30 p.m. Eastern, respectively. And it looks like we have 3 matchups so far set for Friday night and 1 set for Sunday night, and 2 that are yet to be scheduled. So a lot still going on here as far as the 3rd round of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament, and definitely stay tuned to Randomania to find out where those are going to be broadcast among the 4 Randomania networks. And we are joined by WMD88. A valiant effort, to say the least, and good on you for finishing, and GG, and now it's your time to rant.
Thank you. Yes. How about that beginning, huh?
Yeah, I mean, between the 5 enemies, the slime was the only one that even had any kind of a gimme status to it. You had red slimes that were 75% to use their fire breath. Drakies were 75% to use the Dragon Lord 2 breath. Ghosts had a 25% chance of casting hurt. Magicians had a 75% chance of casting hurt. It was like, how do you kind of break through that? And it was a lot of slime grinding, and I think ghosts were also the kind of best way to go.
Yeah, it seemed like red slimes became easier at level 2, but I didn't even see any blue slimes until I'd already gotten there, I think, if I recall correctly. So I just had to cross my fingers and hope I could get a red slime before it got me.
Oh wow, you went to level 2 only on red slimes? That is amazing. I had no shot to kill a red slime.
Yeah, I managed to get a couple. Certainly took enough tries and enough random back attack fire breaths from Drakeys. So, but I finally pulled through on that. And then, other than a couple of navigational issues later in the game, I'm pretty happy with how I did.
Yeah, I was nervous the whole race. I definitely did not expect to win by anything close to this margin. It felt like the levels were slow, and then finding things was a little slow. But I think that was just the nature of the seed for all of us, I guess. But I know that you're still a very capable racer this game, and you could still pull through and win the next 2 weeks, I think, and get into that play-in.
Yeah, that's more confidence than I have, so I do appreciate that.
You've just kind of got the gauntlet of, people to play against, it seems, so far.
Yeah. Yeah, random.org dislikes me just as much as the seeds do, it seems, in some cases.
Well, I think it's fun to play against people that I've met in person, at least. And I've done that all 3 weeks so far. I've played against someone that I've raced DWR with in person. So that's quite something, I think. I don't think that's going to keep up every week.
Probably not, but yeah, that was good.
But it was fun. So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for putting this on last minute for us. I don't know if anyone else had anything to say. But...
Thank you very much. You're all awesome.
And thanks, everybody. Good night.
Make sure to give these four a follow here: jkoper, up2ng, Sparkover, and WMD_88. And also behind the scenes, a whole bunch of folks to thank. Most notably, as mentioned earlier, Ryusation for handling the restreaming last minute, pretty much coming right from the conclusion of his race and hopping on in to do the restream. Also, the unsung heroes as far as tracking, Ali Jerbrap and MathGirl718, as handling a quad is never easy, so it's good that we had two on that. And then, of course, my broadcast partner here, Tilo, alongside myself, Ferran Burgundy. Greatly appreciate you tuning in to us here on Randomania, and looking forward to more races coming up over the course of the next couple of days. So for everybody behind the scenes and in front, until next time, I'm Ferran Burgundy saying, may your moves be excellent and your seeds stay classy. So long, everyone.